Hi. Okay, so we got like a new setup going on here. I'm really stoked. I finally got rid of my kitchen table and we moved the desk in here. So now my office is kind of my office again. With that being said, we should probably get going on the other signs, I think. I'm not going to start with Cancer. I should, but at the same time, I kind of feel like if I'm never gonna get everybody else's sign done, am I? So we're gonna shake on it, and we ended up with Aquarius. Aquarius. Okay. Maybe we can get a better Aquarius. Aquarius. There you go. Ooh. So songs were photos of a new day kicking by Cradle of Filth. Like a G6 by Far East Movement, Pretty by Korn, and As Heaven Is Wide. As far from God as heaven is wide. Take it back. I dare you, take it back. No, you can't. You should have thought of that. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to do your affirmation. Then we're going to use the Shadowscapes Tarot for a past, present, future spread. Then we'll use our magnetic poetry. Hit this button if you like what I do. Check the description box for everything you need to know, including my only social media that you can reach me on. And that's about it. I'm not going to do long intros for you guys. Yeah, anyway. Sorry. I work a ton, so I don't really have a lot of time to do these. So I apologize for not getting to everybody in the past here. I did go to Mexico, so because I went to Mexico, you can say hi to yeah. But anyway, yeah, heaven is wide, as far from God as angels can fly. Yeah. What is your affirmation, Aquarius, for the July time frame here, July 2024? Take it back. I dare you. Take it back. No, you can't. You should have thought of that. Oh, well, we can't take all of them, but we're taking this one. What is it? I am blessed. Some of you might actually, because that came out in the reverse, some of you need to count your blessings. You might be feeling that you're not necessarily feeling real blessed right now. So you remember that negative self-talk thing can actually work to your detriment if you're not careful. So making sure that you say that to yourself is probably a good thing if you can help it. All right, Aquarius. Past, present, future, please do check out your rising moon and Venus sign for additional messages. If you don't know what those are, you can go to a place like Cafe Astrology. You do need to know the time that you were born in order to know your rising sign, because every 2 hours of the day that changes. I do channel also when I'm doing my stuff. So if you see me pointing this way or this way, they're channeled messages. Somebody's been listening to the bangles lately, or they've been messing with bangles on their wrists. Just for fairness. In the past, for you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, I only take flippers or jumpers. So you know. Not everybody does, but just so you know. That's how I do it. And I don't take more than 3 if they fall at once. 7 is wide. We do have 2 here that flipped, so we'll take those. In the past for you, Aquarius, Death in the reverse with the 9 of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles, the Death in the reverse. So, Nine of Pentacles is about self-sufficiency. It's about your independence, your ability to stand on your own 2 feet, but also traveling towards creating a legacy of some sort by recognizing your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. There's a feeling of either reconciliation or unfinished business that's associated with this, almost as if you're coming back around to something. Something something that it's almost like I like to sometimes call this the merry-go-round of crazy when we have the Death card and the reverse Scorpio energy on this, but it's almost as if something that it's like it's come back around. It's something that keeps on coming up, like an ongoing theme of sorts, where that feeling of the need to stand on one's own 2 feet, the need to provide for oneself, to have material independence from another, to start to walk the path towards building a legacy, but independently of others. That is prevalent, but it's something that keeps coming around for you. It's something that is a never-ending story of sorts. This is also about things that have not yet been put to bed or put to rest, or a cycle that needs to transform that has yet to do so. It's something that keeps on. I'm getting that old adage, bang your head against the wall, see if it still hurts, with this. Something isn't transpiring the way that it should. There isn't transformative energy here. It's something that just never ends. Jesus, it never ends. Or something that just, it keeps on going in circles with no end in sight or no resolution. Bang your head against the wall, see if it still hurts. Are you actually gaining that material independence, moving towards the legacy that you wish to? Are you building something of worth? Or are you continuously attempting to bash through a wall of concrete that you cannot? Trying the same thing, expecting different results when that's never, it'll always be to no avail. And us, Aquarius, in the recent past, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I did just see the Moon. Something hidden in your emotional realm, fears, dreams, sleeplessness or restlessness within the dream realm. The sleeping side of 10. This is Cancer season. Cancer is ruled by the Moon. So, okay, we had one kick out. The Hermit. Yeah, time for a deep introspection. Time to go within the cave of self-discovery to learn a personal truth. It could be there's a realization here in connecting with oneself about this never-ending story that has to do with gaining some sort of independence or trying to break through into a path of legacy. There's a realization, though. Illumination is knowledge, and that's something that you're attempting to gain. Virgo season could be during Virgo season. But it is the turning inwards. It is the conversation with the self that has to occur there. That you're trying to be honest with yourself, or you already know what it is. Yeah. So we have that circle. You know what is interesting is these 3 major arcana cards all have the circle, the circle, the circle. Wheel of Fortune. You had a reverse in your fortune in the recent past, where there's a movement forward of sorts, fixed signs of Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, where there's a movement forward of your fortune. Not necessarily, material fortune, but just in the sense of, who we like to perceive our own personal luck isn't necessarily always going our way, feeling down on our luck, having an opportunity come towards you could be something that's happening here as a result of a realization of a personal truth, or in being honest with oneself. There has been movement forward, progress in some direction, a forward direction, momentum kind of gaining from realizing something or being honest with oneself about something. Or a turn of luck for the better. Oopsie. We have 2 and then we have some flippers here. Okay, so we have the 3 of Wands in the reverse with the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Wands in the reverse is impatience with the 3 of Cups. Oh, sorry. 3 of Wands in the reverse is impatience. That feeling of, you know, shit or get off the pot, if you will. No longer being able to, there's restlessness, feeling as if you cannot overlook things, like look over the land and survey it any longer before, you know, embarking on a journey. And then there's celebratory energy and also gossip energy here. This is usually hen party gossip in between 3 individuals, 3 sisters, a group of 3, but it's also celebrations, bridal showers, 3 people getting together, imbibing in drink and joyous occasion. Probably over the restless energy breaking, or the impatience breaking, that wait and see energy breaking, bursting forth out of that, or after a period of much delay, celebration, because there is movement forward, especially having that Wheel of Fortune there. Or it could be because the Wheel of Fortune, and we have that movement forward, there is celebratory energy at that forward movement and the momentum, or because there has been a stroke of luck. However, there is a delay of sorts in the recent past, or almost a sense of urgency that still belies you. Yeah. In the present, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Yeah, it's like an eagerness. In the present, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And Venus. And Venus. So you almost said, sorry, this jumped, and I'm going to keep it intact this way. And Venus. I almost said enviness. Whereas, like, envious, you know, instead of and Venus. So there's enviousness in some regard that's come up for you in the present. But having jumped out, we have the 3 of Swords. There's heartbreak over a sense of not feeling that you have an independence that you should have by now. That's what it seems like to me with these cards here. No end in sight to heartbreak, or no end in sight, no accomplishment of a goal that you thought you would have achieved by now, and the independence that you should have by now. There's a feeling of pain or heartbreak associated with it, or a consistent coming back around to a feeling of heartbreak or pain. That you keep experiencing a reiteration of it in the present. It has to do with legacy in some regard. The feeling that there could have been independence that is now irrevocably lost because this person, sorry, not this person, it's the muse, you know, you can see there the deep pain associated with that. It's almost like an echo of pain coming from the past into the present that causes ultimate heartbreak. It's as if there's an inability to get over something in the past. It actually creates continuity in your future, as far as hindering you from achieving goals that you would have hoped to, it seems. What else? 1 second. Devices making noise in other rooms and stuff. Okay, so what else? Okay. Page of Cups. There's seeking some sort of message of an emotional sense, not necessarily something profound, but could be something of an apology. A small token of emotional fulfillment. I think that you're looking for an apology, or you're looking to provide an apology, some type of word of wisdom or some type of word of consolation in the present. Something that mends fences or bridges with that death card there in the reverse. I know deep within you understand that won't actually, in the present here, with the Hermit, deep within you understand already that that's not sufficient. And that it smacks of patterns. Like I said, the merry-go-round of crazy, it just continues the same way over and over and over again. And it's just an echoing, a reiteration over and over and over again. Bang your head against the wall, see if it still hurts. The Tower and the Seven of Cups in the reverse. Okay. So Seven of Cups in the reverse with the Tower in the upright. It says a dropping of options, whether they be energetic, emotional, romantic. It's about choices, but it's also about building castles in the air. When surveying one's choices. How do you scatter your energy about, believing in the possibilities around you? How do you, again, build castles in the air, looking at these? And it is in freeing yourself from the belief, the false belief, that you have choice. When there seems to clearly be an absence of choice here, that there is a revelation of sort. A very shocking revelation comes to the forefront. It is something that is almost sideswiping in nature. This is scorpionic energy, and this is in the present, but it almost forces you to move forward. It almost forces where there was stagnancy for there to be movement, whether against your will or not. It's something that you already are aware of. If you were, it's like the conversation with oneself. If I was being honest with myself, I already knew that I was going to have to make that the forward movement of that Wheel of Fortune would have to, it's impending. And the Tower is that lightning strike that it's the electricity that jolts things into action here. It's cause for celebration for some people. It's also cause for gossip for others, right? But it's something that it's like the inner dialogue. I can hear the inner dialogue. If I was being honest with myself, I knew this was going to happen. Or if I was being honest with myself, I always knew that I was going to have to, get off my ass and do something, or that if I didn't, make a move, then something was going to make me move, right? What else? In the present, Aquarius. And that's the funny thing, isn't it? Because if we really think about it, it's when we are most comfortable that these Tower moments happen, because the universe recognizes our level of comfort and forces unexpected things to happen to force us out of our comfort zone, to enact change in our lives to make sure that something, some scenario of growth is happening. And, you know, growth is not comfortable. New shoes aren't comfortable. You know. Oh, geez. Jeez. Okay. Temperance. Yeah. Patience, healing. Yeah. Okay. The patience, healing, and the tempering of emotions. I think here it's essentially about healing and taking the time to heal, taking a time out to heal, to connect with one's spirituality, to evaluate things from a higher perspective and a higher plane. Celebrating where one has come far, and where one has an even temper, is addressing things from an even keel space, yet at the same time still taking the time to take stock of things and heal before moving forward. Patience. Patience is also a big, huge idea with temperance. Temperance is also about Sagittarian things such as higher learning, higher education, travel. Long distance travel, though. Like world travel. The things that we experience that open our eyes to things greater than ourselves. Spirituality, the higher plane of existence. There's been an eagerness within you to move forward. So this tower moment that's happening in the present is, if you will, the breaking of an abscess, so that you can begin to heal and move forward and experience life to a greater extent than you had in the past. And the eagerness of the past is being alleviated because this happens in the present for you. Aquarius. Finally in the present. What else we have? Lastly in the present. The Star in the reverse. So this is your card, the Star. Healing again. We have two healing cards here. These are, and it's interesting because this is upright and reverse. It almost is like the wheel of the year, because they are counterparts in the zodiac wheel. This is a moment of you needing to take stock, go within, heal, reflect, as opposed to turning outwards and turning your energy outwards, looking for a greater goal, exercising faith and promise, and seeking out the promise of an ambition of sorts, but turning inwards. It's almost like a double temperance card here with the Star in the reverse. Because you are too eager. You don't want to be shooting from the hip. You don't want to be looking at something with that Three of Wands in reverse energy and kind of jetting off into the unknown without doing the appropriate inner work following this Tower movement. It would work to your detriment to do so. The appropriate level of healing needs to occur so that your movements are deliberate moving forward. So that you can be calculated in your steps. And I don't mean from a negative connotation space of the word calculated. I mean from a space of being sure-footed. Might be a Aquarius cusp individual. But this is like the space of temperance twofold. Needing to come at things from an even keel and from a healed space. And not just, yeah, I'm over it. I don't think about it every day. No, from a space that has addressed your emotions and the emotions of others and is all right with the way, and not from a defensive space either, but from a space that needs no explanation when it comes to whatever it is that you're navigating here in the past, moving into the present, and then therefore echoing into the future. I can't tell you what that is. You have to tell yourself what that is. We all have issues. No one is without hang-ups. In the future for you, Aquarius, I'm trying to make sure that I'm kind of, you know, being precise when it comes to this, because I want to make sure that I'm getting everything for you. But there's healing that has to occur. 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. The proper investment hasn't been made in something. That's why there's heartbreak here for you. You didn't put in the appropriate work into something. So in the future, you're kind of looking back at it. You're looking, you're doing a retrospective on either an emotional communication or you're kind of looking at how you didn't put enough into something. This is somebody sowing seeds and then looking at, you know, whether or not the low-hanging fruit is ripe for the picking, or if they need to wait longer, or if they were striving towards something that was barren in the first place. It seems to be that the appropriate investment was not yet made. No, you haven't put the appropriate work in yet. Not into, I mean, in the future, you might not have given yourself enough time on this 3 of Swords energy, or you're glossing over the emotional communication that you receive or that you impart on somebody else, or even your thoughts that you choose to share about this independence that you're attempting to gain, or a legacy that you're striving to achieve, or someone that you're attempting to exercise an ending with, or transform a relationship with, or an ending that you're attempting to navigate, or done traversing reiterations of energy with. There's a heartbreak here. So it's or pain that you're tired of. It's like beating the dead horse. You're attempting to no longer be the dead horse, but you're not. You're seeing and recognizing in the future where you haven't put in the appropriate work to see that through. Tell me more, Aquarius. 8 of Wands. There's communication that comes in again. Communication coming to you, or communication you're sending off. Feel like you might be sending communication off into the ether, hoping that it gets picked up. It's emotional in sorts. It's like indirect communication, though. Like I said, sending it off into the ether as opposed to directly sending it to someone. I feel that's what's happening here. That's what's transpiring here. Because if we look, this person isn't... there is no precision with this. This is somebody who is not being very direct in their communication. 8 of Wands is typically the arrows of desire, the arrows of communication, messaging, the messenger arrows, right? They're very direct. This is indirect. This is somebody just, right? And so it's something that you're not being very direct and confident in your communication on with someone. And as such, it's not going to be taken seriously, I can tell you that. If there's something as far as advice to be had here, just from this card alone, I would say that the best way to deal with something in this regard is to be direct in your communication with someone. And confident about it. If this is coming towards you, somebody's shying away from direct communication with you, or they're being indirect and they're lacking confidence in their communication of an emotional nature that has to do with some semblance of pain, having to do with scattered energy of an emotional nature, or choice, or building castles in the air, you know, the preponderance of possibility, and the lack of investment, the lack of appropriate investment in a situation, a tangible situation. I kind of feel like that's you, though. The indirect communication is coming from this way, carrying itself this way. So I always kind of look at that from this is the individual side that you're reading for, and this is the side that the energy is being directed towards. Is, you know, it's not flying towards you, right? Let's see here. What else? Aquarius in the future. Tell me more. Aquarius. Oh, that's too many. Okay. King of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, not following your intuition, not coming from a confident space when it comes to your heart. This is intellect ruling over intuition to the point of fault, being too strategic as opposed to feeling and emotional. Somebody who is not confident and claiming of their heart space. Scorpio energy on this in particular. Kings are fixed signs. So this is definitely, you got a lot of Scorpio in this suit here. This is something you could be experiencing during Scorpio season. Sometimes I also see this depending on the deck that I'm reading. Sometimes I also see this as a Pisces card. But here I'm seeing it, I'm just starting to own these a little bit more in their actual suits. So Scorpio, for this one, you're not claiming of your heart space. You're not confident in speaking to your heart space. You're shaky in your declaration of your emotions and feelings. And other people can see that. There's wishy-washiness. And that's something that you can, most certainly, if it's just your delivery sucks, as opposed to you actually being somebody who lacks confidence in your emotional expression, that's something that you can work on. There's a difference in between it being a reality and being something that you are projecting onto others that isn't necessarily true, you know, being that you seem to exercise, well, you seem to operate out of a more logical headspace, a more strategic headspace, and are far more intellectual and confident when expressing things of an intellectual nature. It stands to reason that Aquarius as a sign, and I hate to generalize people, I like to use generalizations, but to come from that space, it can often seem as if people who have strength in their ability to express themselves from an intellectual standpoint can often lack confidence in expressing themselves from the emotional headspace. So, it's funny because that's a dichotomy, right? The emotional headspace. But if you were to try to express your emotions, you may come across as less confident than you would if you were to express yourself from the strategic, logical, intellectual space. So it's more about making sure that you practice that. The more comfortable you become more comfortable doing that, the more that you experience it in your day-to-day life, as opposed to if you and that's simply the fact. If you are somebody who is used to speaking to things from an intellectual headspace, you're going to, of course, be confident doing so. Whereas if you're somebody who shares your feelings a lot, you're going to be confident and comfortable expressing your feelings with others. So, you know, what it is really, the skill building here happens when you practice the skill that you believe that you lack, or that people don't necessarily believe that you're comfortable with, or that you don't necessarily. It's more about what you believe, really. So if you don't believe that you're comfortable exercising thought sharing or feeling sharing Operate at that space until you become comfortable doing so. You don't have to blow smoke up anybody's ass. It's more just making sure that you're more comfortable speaking from your heart space as opposed to your head space. And vice versa, because not everybody's comfortable expressing themselves from a well-spoken, strategic, logical, intellectual headspace. Some people are more comfortable speaking to their emotions, right? All right. When there's a lack of confidence in what you feel, only you're going to know if that's because of what I've been kind of going on ad nauseum about, or if that's because you don't necessarily know that what you want is what you want. So it's about the ability to be honest with yourself about what you do feel and what you don't feel. So there is that side of it too, right? Some people aren't necessarily comfortable admitting that to themselves, what they do and do not feel. And that's just a whole other thing. Okay, finally for you, Aquarius. It's too many. What else? Page of Swords in the reverse. Somebody's turning a blind eye to things, or you're ignoring somebody. Ignorance is bliss. Normally seen as the Stalker card when it's in the upright. Typically, Page of Swords can be seen as a messenger with impulsivity on their tongue, somebody with a silver tongue, but also it can be seen as somebody who watches for the purposes of learning, examines for the purposes of learning. In this specific respect, it being in the reverse, this is an individual who is turning a blind eye. They're either ignoring things on purpose through willful ignorance. Through willful ignorance, they do not have to acknowledge this tower moment that's happening in the present, nor do they have to admit the need for healing or tempering of emotions, the need to connect with higher spiritual learning, or that which resides on the higher plane, or through the belief that ignorance is bliss. They don't have to, they can simply ignore what's going on around them, where things are toppling around them, and that they can live in denial of what resides within their heart space. And even in denial of the reality that surrounds them regarding options, lack of options, lack of possibility, the lack of existence of possibility, or the lack of futility when it comes to emotional possibility. But then I mean, I think it's more just the denial that there's a requirement for healing, and a requirement for connectedness with the self here that should be occurring following a very shocking moment that's going to happen, a revelation that's going to happen in the present. There's willful ignorance that's involved here in the future. Somebody is turning a blind eye to this, and it could very well be you. Especially on the heels of a realization connected to one's emotionality. And again, this doesn't have to be romantic. I know a lot of people want to connect romance with tarot a lot of the time. This could have to do with family. This could have to do with one's own connectedness with the self, with the emotional self, right? Okay. Lastly, for you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Those wanted to pop, two wanted to come up, but we're not gonna be all lazy about that, right? We'll get you some magnetic poetry after this real quick. We're getting into 40 minutes here. Oh, we have a flipper. Yeah. Huh. 7 of Swords in the reverse. So this is deception. It's oh crap, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's classically in the Rider-Waite. It's that guy who's sneaking away from camp with the swords on his back. Treachery. It's, yeah, somebody is turning their blind eye. Willful ignorance at one's treachery and how it's turned on themselves. The need to heal the treachery because it was a self-betrayal. Willful ignorance and how the treachery was, it was a crime against oneself as opposed to a crime against others. The need to heal that. Or where there was a lack of balance in that. One hurt oneself more than they hurt others. In robbing others, I robbed myself. In robbing others, I robbed myself of ... A higher plane of existence, a higher state of being, my legacy, my star, the path towards my star. Deep personal knowing and healing and truth that was my own with the star. Legacy and true independence. Travel, world travel, higher learning. There's a shocking moment. There's a flood coming soon. Something is like a tidal wave. Now, somebody doesn't want to acknowledge this in themselves. So they are the doer of... they are the cause of their own pain. Oh, shuffling backwards now. Ooh. Last card. Okay. 9 of Cups. Self-love, exercising self-love. They don't want to see where they need to exercise self-love to heal oneself, to turn inward, to bring themselves that kindness, the healing within, to look within. You know, you must, you know, the 8 of Cups prior to the 9 of Cups, because this is 9 of Cups, right? Prior to the 9 of Cups is the walking away from something that would normally be believed to provide great personal fulfillment, great emotional fulfillment, great romantic fulfillment, great wish fulfillment, and abandoning all of those 8 cups in search of something greater, something of a greater personal truth. And in connecting with oneself in the 9 of Cups and understanding that seeking all of that emotional fulfillment in others, in doing so, we have failed to provide ourselves with the greatest of all of that emotional fulfillment. And in order to reach a 10 of Cups, the greatest emotional fulfillment, the highest of all wishes for ourselves and what is in our highest good of an emotional sense, we need to absolutely exercise self-love, to know oneself, to love oneself, to be kind to oneself, but to ultimately understand one's own personal truth and abide by that personal truth. Because, of course, the greatest love is the love of self. And when we are abiding of our love of self, we can then traverse forward towards our greatest emotional fulfillment. Well, and there's a lack of honesty here when it comes to that. Lack of being honest with oneself about how one has failed to do so. I'm hoping that because we see this at the end of a very long trail of indirectness with oneself and with connecting with one's intuition and heart space, that there is a recognition of where that needs to change. Bottom of the deck, Six of Cups in the reverse. So normally Six of Cups in the upright would be reconciliation with a past lover, childhood lover, friend. This would also be where we are returning to an innocent place where our childhood wishes, dreams, and goals can be remembered, and therefore we can derive happiness and contentment and joy from them, but also remember the sweetness of them and pursue, at least if nothing else, that sweetness and innocence of our childhood wishes, dreams, and goals in our current and future aspirations. I don't necessarily see that here with it being in the reverse. There's a lack of connectedness with that innocence, but also a lack of connectedness with the self, and almost an inability to remember where one comes from. Okay. I'm not going to, give you shit on a stick and call it chocolate. Here you go. Not when it comes to tarot. What do you got for you? I've decided that moving forward, I'm going to list these in like in a list type form. Because I don't want anybody to feel that I'm making sentences out of them. So these are your words, Aquarius. I hope that this helped. I hope that there is some tidbit of wisdom in it for you. And, flip the script if it didn't resonate. Sometimes it's kind of like in seeing where other people that you're surrounded by are kind of doing the thing with all of this kind of stuff that we kind of realize. In any event, hope to see you when I see you next. And great talking to you. Okay, bye. And there you have it. Yeah. All right. Okay, see you.